Let's be honest. When you hear the phrase workplace gossip, your first thought probably isn't positive. And that's because most of us were taught that gossip is unprofessional, it's toxic, and often it's something that leaders should shut down immediately. But what if that belief that all gossip is bad is actually hurting your team? Because after years of working with organizations and watching workplace dynamics up close, I've learned something that surprises most people. Not all workplace gossip is created equal. Welcome to Built to Grow, the podcast about leadership, culture, and becoming the kind of human your workplace actually needs. I'm Valdet, and this isn't about buzzwords or corporate fluff. We talk about what's real, what works, and what helps people and organizations grow from the inside out. So here's the reality. Gossip is simply information that is shared informally. The problem isn't gossip itself, it's intent. There's a big difference between tearing someone down and sharing information that helps people succeed. Positive gossip looks like talking about someone's strengths, sharing insights about what's working, or preparing teammates for challenges ahead. Negative gossip is about power. It's often about fear. It's about damage. And really, it's the same behavior, but with different impact. Let's talk about why it matters, though, because positive gossip creates what I like to call social glue. When people speak positively about each other, even when they're not in the room, hell, especially when they're not in the room, trust increases. Teams feel more connected, collaboration improves, and work feels more human. These informal conversations matter more than the most formal meetings because culture isn't built in policies, it's built in conversations. And here's something that most leaders don't expect or are surprised to hear. Research shows employees who engage in positive gossip are less likely to leave their jobs. Why is that? Because these conversations become support systems. They help people deal with, process stress or organizational trauma. They remind people of wins. We tend to focus on the negative. This helps us focus on the positive. And it reinforces belonging. When work gets hard, and it always does, people don't usually quit because of one bad day. They quit because they feel alone. And connection keeps people staying. It's also shown that it can contribute to happiness. So think about well-being at work and feeling happy. Happy is an emotional contagion. And so happiness can spread. So if I'm happy and I positively gossip about somebody else, or to somebody else, then that person will feel happy. And then if they gossip to somebody else, again, all positive, that person might feel happy. So there's like 3 degrees of happiness that can spread. So there's also that aspect too. But what people also don't realize is that positive gossip also creates natural accountability. Now let's talk about that more. When information flows constructively, teams will self-regulate. They share warnings, they share insights, and they help each other prepare instead of panic. Trying to ban gossip doesn't stop it. It just drives it in the background. Transparency reduces stress. Silence doesn't. So what should we do as a leader of self, as an individual contributor? We don't want to try to eliminate gossip. That's impossible because people will talk anyway. Instead, what we want to do is, and no matter what level in the organization you are, you want to model positive information sharing. Now, if there's a malicious gossip, you want to address that directly, whether it's a peer and someone's coming up to you and they say negative things about somebody or they're trying to assassinate someone's character that they don't like, put a stop to that. Because also remember, they say misery loves company, but that's not true. Misery loves miserable company. Okay? Misery loves miserable company. And negative gossiping is a way to make people feel miserable so that the miserable person who's doing the gossiping has somebody in their corner. Don't become that person. Shut it down, address it, say, hey, we don't do that here. Instead, we want to create transparency so rumors don't fill the gaps. Because that's the other thing. What we don't know, we make up. And when we don't have transparency on our team or in the organization, we will plug and play past experiences from other companies or in the company. And so the more transparency we can create on a team and an organization, the less likely rumors will fly. But if you are a leader, especially, people take cues from what leaders talk about and how they talk about it. I've seen too many leaders say things that they shouldn't say or negatively gossip about things. And in some spaces, it's venting and it's okay, but other times it's inappropriate, especially when it's from other team members or employees. Culture isn't shaped by handbooks, it's shaped by behavior. So it's important that we be very mindful of what we talk about and when we talk about it. And again, like I emphasized, workplace gossip is not going away. It's always going to be around, because also when you think about the history of humans, we have always gossiped. That's before the internet was a thing, we gossiped. That's how we spread information. That's how we learned about things. That's how we learned about what was going on in our neighborhoods, with family, with neighbors, with school. So it's not going away. Storytelling, gossiping is human nature. The real question is going to become, what kind of gossip culture are you allowing to grow? Because every conversation is an opportunity to build trust or quietly tear it down. So choose wisely. Look, if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who leads or wants to lead better. This is Built to Grow, and I will see you next time.